The Italian Republic is a European country located in the world's most recognizable peninsula. The country consists of the entirety of the Italian peninsula, with the exception of the states of San Marino and the Vatican, and many islands across the Mediterranean Sea, enlarging its maritime zone to this extent. It also borders 4 countries in the north, including an enclave in Switzerland, and together with these 20 regions, they form Italy, a nation 60 million people call home. You may think that this country has been around for hundreds of years, right? Well, brace yourselves because you are about to find out it hasn't. The first Italian state, which was born in 1861, only controlled these lands, having its capital city, Florence, here. It formed as a result of a movement that wanted to achieve liberation from foreign influence and control, and unite a common ethnicity that up to this point was scattered throughout the region. They hadn't been united since the Roman Empire times almost 1600 years ago, and the unification marked a new era for the people in the peninsula. Which people are we talking about here? Well, let's go back to the year 1859. We have the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, the Papal States, which were under direct sovereign rule of the Pope, the Grand Duchy of Tuscany, the 2 duchies of Parma and Piacenza, and Modena and Reggio, the Maritime Republic of Venice, which dominated European trade once, and the Kingdom of Sardinia, which was the one that ultimately achieved this dream with the combined will of each and every state that eventually joined. In 1871, after annexing some more areas, the capital city was moved to Rome, and bit by bit they gained more land through the decades. Some land in Eastern Africa in the 1890s, some land in Northern Africa in the 1910s, and by the time the First World War had ended, Italy had all these additions to their territory. However, by 1950, they had lost most of it to other countries. The final addition to the current borders happened in 1975, though, when half of this microstate was ceded to Italy after it dissolved. Pretty crazy that the borders of Italy stopped changing only some decades ago, right? Well, what's even crazier is its geography. Almost 35% is covered by forests, and 40% of the country is mountainous, with the highest peak at 4,800 meters above sea level. We also find 2 mountain chains, created as a result of the African plate and the Adria microplate, diving down beneath the Eurasian plate. This phenomenon makes Italy one of the most seismically active countries in the continent, as well as one of the countries with the most volcanoes. Another way to look at Italy is through its elevation range, and we do so in order to show you the prominent valley that lies in between these mountains. It is called the Po Valley, named after the river with the same name, and even though there are more rivers across the nation, this area in particular is the one that enjoyed the most development. It has been the economic center of Italy, and for a time of the whole of Europe in the Middle Ages due to its geography and location. Nowadays, the population density, along with the highly urbanized areas, have made this region very wealthy and business-focused. Think of Austria or Germany. The South, however, enjoys a much more traditional and Mediterranean approach. Think of Greece, Spain, or Turkey, where life tends to go much slower than the North, with a calmer and more casual atmosphere. This duality shows why Italy is considered as much Southern Europe as Western Europe. In addition, the further south we go, the more we notice that these groups of islands have a unique importance due to their proximity to Africa, especially the island of Lampedusa. It is part of the deadliest migrant route in the world, due to thousands of deaths that crossing the sea in small boats causes. This immigration problem is a controversial issue in Italy, and while some might agree or disagree with the current government measures, Italians themselves know about it very well because they once searched for better opportunities outside. Back in the 1800s, decades of internal strife that ultimately led to the unification of Italy had left a legacy of violence, social chaos, and widespread poverty, especially in the South. And as transatlantic transportation was becoming affordable, millions of Italians chose the Americas. Add to that the immigration from Italy after both world wars. That is why the Italian diaspora in the world reaches almost 80 million people, including partial ancestry, despite not having been a big colonial empire. The top countries with Italian blood include Brazil, Argentina, and the United States. Climate-wise, Italy has a largely temperate climate with regional variations. In summer, the northern parts of Italy are warm with occasional rainfall, but don't fool yourself. Winter can still get pretty cold. The central region is somewhat stifled by humidity with a less intense winter, and the south scorches under the dry heat most of the year. These conditions allow a wide range of views, such as a cold winter afternoon in a northern city or a sunny day in a southern town. Beautiful, isn't it? No wonder why Italy is in the top 5 most visited countries in the world. And to support this demand, we find a wide network of airports, the 2 most important ones being the one in Milan and the one in Rome, the latter reaching all these destinations outside of Europe with non-stop flights, and all these inside. The country also has a large network of roads and highways that can help you get around. For instance, if you chose to drive a car from the city of Milan to the city of Rome, it would take about 6 hours. We also find a very efficient network of railroads, capable of supporting high-speed travel of up to 300 kilometers per hour in these specific routes, reducing the travel time to 3 hours and 30 minutes. Yes, Italy generates millions in tourism, but it is also a large manufacturer, overall second in the EU, just behind Germany, and it is a powerhouse in trade. Top exports include machinery, accounting for 26% of their trade, chemical products, and transportation-related items. The 3 main destinations of these goods are Germany, France, and the US. On the other hand, Italy's main import is crude petroleum, representing 8% of their imports, most of it coming from Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and Russia. All of this trade is only made possible through these important ports, especially these 2, due to their proximity to the international trade route coming from the Atlantic to the Suez Canal. And this leads us to talk about international relations. Do you know what Italians answered when asked which country they were willing to militarily defend if they were under actual attack? Greece. While I understand that surveys are not 100% reliable, it could easily reflect the population's view this time, especially because of the more than 2 millennia of shared heritage since the times of ancient Greece. In spite of Italy's crazy episode in the 1940s, they still pick Greece almost as if they were part of one ethnic group. Although somewhat exaggerated, this is not completely wrong. Modern DNA research has shown that many people living now in southern Italy share almost identical genetic information with a majority of the people who currently live in metropolitan Greece. And how could that not be true, since wave upon wave of Greek people throughout history have traveled, lived, and prospered in the areas of southern Italy? Now, on the other hand, the biggest rival and enemy is Canada, because they dared to put pineapple on pizza. Are they insane? No, but for real, the country that they see as a rival is definitely France, which is very good in fields where Italy excels as well, like art assets, tourism, the fashion industry, cuisine, wines, cheeses, football, and so on. This leads them to often compete in the charts they are both proud of. Plus, the attitude of a few people towards Italians can come off as arrogant and rude. Also, there is still some teeny-tiny beef with the fact that the Mona Lisa was given to the French by Da Vinci himself. They can thank France for one thing, though, and that is to be reminded that they do in fact share a country only when facing something else, because Italy's main enemy is within Italy. Italy has been divided in several different states for so long that they would wage war on each other often. But they would always come together and form a coalition against any major foreign threat whenever necessary. Yes, sometimes the South dislikes the North dislikes the South, the mountainous city dislikes the one in the valley, and the small town dislikes the other small town. But you know what? They chose to go together because they'd rather go far and together than go fast but on their own. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. We have a lot more coming. Grazie!